G'day mateys and welcome to episode 2 of From Trash to Treasure. Today we have a box full of what people call trash. I call it treasure. So let's get the stuff out of the box, on the bench, pick which one we're going to work on today, and we'll take it from there. So in here, what have we got? PlayStation Slim. First model. Radio. Looks a bit dirty. 1. PlayStation 2 Slim model. The Model 2, the upgrade, the 9000 series, got built-in power supply. We have PlayStation 1, and clearly it must have a mod chip because there's a burnt disc in it. Pretty old looking. Ugh. We've got heaps in here. Fat PlayStation 2. Ugh. Another fat PlayStation 2. Ugh. Yes, an original Xbox. This one has been opened previously. I'm running out of room on the bench. All this stuff. Ugh. And what else is in here? Can anyone guess? Drum roll. Ugh. Another Xbox One original with something rattling around inside. So, and oddly, there's a Xbox 360 power supply for the original model. Okay, so we'll just put that one on the floor. So, there's our box. What am I going to work on today? I think... eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay, I'm going to pick the last model of the PS2, so PS2 Slim with a built-in power supply. Let's get all this other stuff off the bench and see if we can work on this. Let's see how this works. There we go, clear bench. So here is our PlayStation 2 Slim, second model. Let's pop some leads into it and see what's wrong. It's generally scratched up, marked, the usual stuff. So let's get the leads I prepared earlier. I've always got leads here, by the way. Ugh. So, original AV lead and a figure 8 power lead. Let's pop in the AV lead first. It's nice and easy. And power lead. So, let's have a look. We have a power light, red LED. Good sign. Let's pop the TV over to AV and see what we can get. You ready? Cross our fingers. Oh, I hear noise. Well, that's good. It turns on. Okay, great. I should have grabbed a controller. That's easier to solve. Hey, look at that. That's my Japanese PlayStation in the background. Okay, put that in. Let's just see if the controller works. Yep, that works. System configuration. Hey, it's even got the right date. Interesting. Not the right time, but that's all right. Back. Okay, well, let's get a disc and see if it works. Futurama! Really expensive game in the US. However, a Power Region one, not expensive at all. So let's get out the disc, hit the eject button. Okay, let's pop the disc in, close the lid. And nothing. Did this disc spin up? Let's have a look. No, it's exactly, so this disc isn't spinning. Let's, it feels okay. Try it again. Push down on the lids. I've had lids before that warped. Nope. Okay, let's have a proper look. Aha, right, we have a problem. What the problem is the lug that's meant to be on the lid here is broken off. So it's not pushing on the lid detect. So the disc won't spin. Let's try the screwdriver into the sensor and see if she spins now. Yep, so that's spinning. So we'll actually have to put that down slightly. Otherwise, they don't grip the disc. Talking from experience here. Is that going to actually read? It sounds like it. There we go. So, the lid clip is broken off the lid. So, you can try to glue something on, and it'll probably break off next week, in 12 months time, or something like that. But, yeah, there we go. We don't want to do that. I want a permanent fix. So that's obviously why this was thrown out. They obviously thought it was a laser. It's what everyone seems to think. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace the shell. I'll replace the top part of the shell. I could probably just try to replace just the lid, but trying to put the lid off a new shell onto here, try to align it, and often they're a little bit, cheap and nasty, so they don't always line up. So let's turn this off. We'll unplug our leads. Yeah. Like so. And we will now have a look if I've got the parts in stock. So I'll be back right after this.
75 years later.
Here we go. I actually do have one in stock. So here is a shell replacement. So nothing else in there. So what's inside if we lift it off? So inside it comes with screws, covers, infrared port for the front, but we just want to use this top section. So let's take this into the other room, get it on the bench, and we will swap this over.
More moments later.
So here we are in the workshop. So as I said, we're going to fit this lid onto this PlayStation. So let's pull this up. It's fairly straightforward. So we'll put the brand new lid to the side here. Inside here, as I said, infrared port and all that sort of stuff. What's quite funny is, look at this. It comes with a sticker telling you it's a 9000, but it says NTSC model. And of course this is a PAL, so that's why I don't want to replace the bottom section, just the top section, because I want to keep the original serial number and sticker. So we'll keep that aside just in case I ever need it in the future. Got all the new screws and bits and bobs in here, but what I want to have a look at the bottom for is to find out what screws I need to take out, because it easily shows me. So let's flip this over, and you can easily see what I've got to do. So, aha, there's a sticker here I wasn't aware of where there's a screw, so that's fine. It's obviously under there. So we need to pull these out firstly and have a look. So just got a screwdriver and just put it down the side and pop it up. So there's one. There's a plastic type here. So plastic ones can all go together. Another one here. Okay, another one over here. another rubber. So the rubber ones are the ones at the back, so they can go together there. Okay, so we've just got a few screws. We've got this one under here, of course. Let's see if we can pull it off without damaging it. So okay, that's out of the way. Pop this one out. Okay, so let's get a screwdriver, one I preferred earlier, and pop this off. Now, I don't know what screws go where, so I'm going to lay them out in the order that they come out. So that into that corner there. I'm thinking they are all pretty much the same. That one there. Okay, that one doesn't want to come out. It's out, but just won't come out because this screwdriver isn't magnetized. Okay, let's. Okay, so that one can go into that corner. Just a magnetized screwdriver. There we go. So far, all the screws have been the same. Yep, so they're all exactly the same, so that makes it easier for us. Pop that sticker back down. Now, let's flip this over. We'll move this out of the way now, because I know where they all go. That'll be a spare. Flip this around. And does it come off? Gotta be just gentle. Okay, so that's off. That was actually much easier than I expected it to be. So is there anything that we need to swap over onto the new one? Let's have a look. So the new one, that's fine. It's got the ports. It's got the world's dodgiest looking PlayStation logo. That's fine. How about everything else in here? The original one does feel quite a bit heavier. So there you go. Yep. No, everything else looks pretty good. Now, as you can see, I could have probably swapped just the lid by undoing the screws here and the spring. But you never know, it might not line up the same. Tolerances could be different, so I think it's just best that I just leave the old one the way it is. And that means I've got spare bits for the future. I'll put it in a box and mark it as spare. So, okay, well that's easy. To the side. Let's see if this is going to fit. So move that back forward. Actually, let's have a look while we're in here. So that's the power supply section there. I'm not going to stick my finger in it because some of the capacitors will still be charged. You've got this nice little blower type style fan here, which is nice to see. Good to see that they've actually gone over to blower fans finally. Laser mechanism actually looks really clean in here. There's no real dust, there's nothing, so I'm not even going to clean it. I'm just going to leave it be. Let's pop this down. I think you need to hook it over the front firstly. Yep. So, it's not quite lined up. I think we have a difference here. It's not lining up down here. Everywhere else seems fine. Okay, let's take this off and have a look. Have a look at the original. looking the same. I think this pole is a bit longer. I haven't got anything to measure with currently, so let's just do that. Mark it with my finger. Yeah, look at that. The pole on the new one is slightly longer. Do that. See my finger there, nice and clean. Against the edge, put it against this one. Yep, there's a 2mm gap, so that's why it won't fit. So, do I just trim that one down a little bit? Or do I swap the whole interior out of this into the other case? I'm going to have to think about this and be back soon.
Much, much, much later.
So I've had to think about it. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to replace the bottom shell because the bottom shell is much better quality than the replacement one. It just turns out that on this particular one here, on the original, the mounting point in the bottom is raised slightly. So on the reproduction one, they just raised the leg. On here, I made the bottom section lower, which is annoying. So what we're going to do, I have my trusty Stanley blade here, and we're actually going to just trim off a little bit of this stand. So we're just going to come in here on a nice angle. We need to get a nice flat cut. You can see I'm taking off about 2mm, and that's in the metric system, and I don't know how on earth you get a measurement in the inch scale, because it would just be like, 1/16 of an inch or something crazy. So that's why metric was invented. 2mm. Let's just go backwards and forwards with the Stanley blade here. Or as a lot of people call them, box cutters. But this is actually a Stanley brand. So I'm just going to work through here, just nice and slow. And we'll speed this up on the tape so you can don't have to sit through me cutting through plastic. Problem I've got that this blade is actually quite blunt, so I'm just going to see if there's another blade inside.
2 very boring minutes later.
So no new blade inside, but I've turned the blade around. There we go. So you can see it's a little bit shinier. I'll come back to you once I finish doing this.
5 minutes later.
Okay, so there we go. We are all the way through. It's nice and flat. Let's see if it lines up better this time. So, flip it around, over the front. Yep, much better. So let's pop some screws in and see how we go. Now, I actually had it the other way. There we go. Need a better fitting screwdriver.
Much later.
Okay, what it is, we need to use the new screws. The old ones are slightly bigger and don't want to go into the plastic, so we'll use the new screws. flip it over. Nice new lid. Let's see if it ejects. Yay, look at that. Beautiful. Let's hope that that is all fitting properly. So we will go take that onto the bench into the other studio and we'll go give it a try. See you soon.
20 minutes later.
Well, that didn't go so well. These are so crappily made that it doesn't close the lid properly to push the button. So I'm going to try to swap the lid off this one onto the old one. So I'm taking the old lid off. There's a bracket over here that we take off, and then there's one here. So let's see if we can get this one off. So there's the screw. To do this, you actually got to open the unit. You can see that the bracket's just there. You need to get a flat blade screwdriver and just push that out. And the quality of bracket in this is just wonderful. Once you've done that, you open it up to kind of like a halfway position, and then you can just slide it out like so. Well, the spring gave way on the cheap nasty one, but not on the other one. So let's see if we can actually put this into the other. So that's the spring I've got to put back in firstly. Actually a hole for that to go into. There's a hole there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of tape on there so it doesn't fall out again. So here's some tape. So I'm going to put that just over there just to stop the spring falling out again. Put it over the edge, but I'll just tear it there so I can still get at it. Okay, here's a cheap cover that has its thing in place. Hopefully it'll work in here. So we need to, it's got that spring in the way. A little bit fiddly. I don't even know if it's really going to fit properly, so we'll just have to work it out as we go. Nope, the angle's not going to work. Maybe push the spring in with my finger. Okay, there we go. This is why I didn't want to do this, because it's going to be tedious, fiddly, annoying, all of the above. So that one's ready to go in. This one's a little bit stubborn, and it's because of that spring. I'm going to come back in a little bit because I'm going to need to use both hands.
More moments later.
Don't you hate that? As soon as I stopped rolling, it all went together. So, there's two little notches in here that you've got to sort of lift it up into and push it over and then clip it closed. So that's back together. Now we've got to put these little bits back in. So I'm not going to use the cheap nasty bits. I'm going to use the better quality ones, obviously. So, see, here's the proper Sony one. Here's the nasty one. See how it's already bent? So, yeah, we'll put the Sony one in. So obviously it goes this way. we need a flat screwdriver. That one there, just to push this back into position. There we go, that's much better. Sony screw. I need the smaller screwdriver, I think. Yep. Excuse my broken screwdriver. So I can actually get it into places. So that's in. Good. Here's the other one. And this goes around that way. A little alignment there. And then the screw goes into place. So let's see if I hit the eject button if it opens. Yep, it does. And the gap in here is nice and constant all the way through, as on the cheek case it was pushed over this way, so it wasn't activating. Still does feel a bit loose, so check out to see how that goes. Put it together and we'll find out shortly. Just eject that, but take this bit of tape off here. That kept the spring in position, which was very handy. There we go, tapes out. So does that close properly? Yep, much better. Not as nice looking, sadly. But let's see if it will go back together again. Okay, flip that around and we'll use the Sony screws this time. We're going back into the original Sony plate. I'll put all these back in once we know it's working. Back soon. And we're back in the studio. So what did we have to do? In the end, we had to use the old part of the top shell and the lid off the new shell because they just wouldn't marry up 100%. It just wouldn't read the disc all the time when testing it on the bench. So we swapped that over, crossed our fingers, and will it work? I actually really don't know. Let's turn on the television. While waiting for that to come on, I'll plug some leads in. We'll do a bit of magic, and we hope it all works. It is coming on, good. Leads. Always put in the AV lead first, because you don't want any static or anything going on if you've got the 240 volts in and then you plug in the AV lead. So AV lead always first. Then pop in your power lead. Pop in our controller. Here we go. Let's eject. Beautiful. Futurama. Same disc. Pop it in. Close the lid. Hit the power button. Did that fix it? That should be my new catchphrase. Yoo-hoo! Let's see. Will Futurama actually come up fully? Is it going to be pleasant? I can hear the drive going, so that's a good sign. Yes. English. Well, I hope so. Yes, that works. Fantastic. So, you can buy a new shell and still be in exactly the same position. Before I was rudely interrupted, so you can buy a new shell and the quality of them is just pretty crappy. Unfortunately, there might be better quality ones out there. That one was from AliExpress. I'll put a link in the description below to tell you not to buy that one. Look, the lid works. That's, you know, just the actual door mechanism that does now work. It was finicky to put back together. Even when I put it back together, it wasn't always heating the micro switch, so we had to get out the hot air gun and just run it over the corner of the new door and just push it down a few times just to mold it into a slightly better shape, because it was just lifting a little and it didn't want to work. So yeah, but now every time we'll just power off once more, power it off again, cross our fingers. I can hear it spinning up, so that's fine. So look, another episode of From Trash to Treasure. We've got that box of stuff, so there's a couple of old original Xboxes in there. There's another PS2 Slim, don't know what's wrong with that one. And there's a PS1 in there. That's probably going to be a laser issue, seeing there's a burnt disc in it. But look, stay tuned. All this stuff so far I've picked up or been given for free because it doesn't work. So what's one of these worth? Because, you know, about 30 to 40 bucks, you could probably sell that for. Console only, throw in a controller, you'll get 50. You might have to wait a while for the right buyer to come along, but that's what it's all about. So next time, guys, tune on in and we'll see how it goes. Bye for now. Bum, ba, ba, dum, bum, bum, bum.